Good morning. One of the things that I'm very passionate about is creation care. I'd like to share with you a few thoughts about why caring for creation is important to our faith. I have three areas that I'd like to focus on. First, the simple joy of being outside in God's world brings His whole presence in full view. I can feel Him with my hands in the soil or the bee sting warning me to stay away. I can see Him in the first prairie smoke blooms of the spring. I hear Him in the honking geese. The first strips of maple sap delight my taste senses. The smell of a spring rain promises new growth. All of my senses are renewed, refreshed, and rewarded. Secondly, my faith in our creation is deepened by observing interactions between even the smallest native bees, or watching the monarch deposit an egg underneath a fresh milkweed leaf. I get involved by taking notes of the rhythms of the outdoor spaces. I try to remind myself, and you, my friends, to slow down, sit on one of Bob's benches. God is messaging us through the turtles basking on that log, the proud duck families with their babies all in line, or the rotting logs full of new life taking advantage of the decay. We can learn from sharing our fellow creatures' intricate lives. And finally, I must be responsible to protect, share, and promote His gifts for our children. Restoration of the shoreline now promotes healthy plants for the benefit of the insects, butterflies, birds, and animals. The endangered rusty patch bumblebee has been spotted on our shoreline. Managed as a monarch way station, the butterfly population is increasing. We have a prominent local author and bee expert visit and photograph our diverse collection. Overall, we need to be guardians of that circle of life that is so precious, yet threatened in so many ways. How can I and the church develop that appreciation for creation care? I see the children with Georgie, God's Garden, and the Berry Patch kiddos exploring outdoor spaces with ever-bubbling excitement. We have visitors from the waters slowly breathing in and observing. I delight in the chats I have with the neighbors. They share plants with us, and some delight in the photo opportunities. As we continue to develop the pathways for better access around the campus, we open natural spaces for visitors. How can we further develop and expand and be inviting? I want to share it all. Come, breathe it in. Fill your senses with God's love and joy. Now, for a different perspective, I'll pass it over to Bob Daum for how creation care is a part of his faith.
Well, lately I've been doing a lot of thinking about creation care. It happens every spring for me, and it came out as a poem that I'd like to share with you now. I was formed on the plains, alive with creek and river, playing in the wooded grove and across the wide land. Sunsets were my prayers, sunrises my devotions. The constant wind of the flatlands was the spirit reminding me of whose son I really was. Rainfall was a time for self-care in a sunrise to sunset workday. The summer sun occupied the land and drove all things to shade. Crops soaked up the warmth and grew so fast you could hear it. The gaze of the Most High was hard upon the fields, blessing us with bounty and the patience needed for midsummer. Fall brought the last hay of summer and the first harvest. The complexity of the Creator was shown, and the blend of sadness for the waning summer with the ripe expectation of the actual fruits of our family's efforts. They were as seeds ripening, full of reward and the promise of life after the season of need. The cold of winter padded in ahead of the snow. The brisk embracing frost and the sharp sunshine left a feeling of a divine tough love. I felt alive, as only a strengthening challenge can make you feel. You could feel the blizzard build for days. Livestock eats with urgency as the darkening skies lowered their shoulders and dug in their feet, while you did the same. The beautiful brawn of a holy God was flexed for anyone to see and feel. The blizzard bullied and pushed and knocked you down while you secured buildings and cared for livestock. There was a deep peace in knowing that you fought the God-given adversary and led and protected those in your care. This lesson leads me to my most satisfying duties I have, meeting my responsibility as a child of the creating God. With spring comes life at its most vulnerable, all wobbly-legged and threatened by the final punches of a vindictive winter. Again, you use nurturing care against a larger force and rely on God for guidance, strength, endurance, and better weather. The warming days and lingering cold nights fade into the faith-filled act of planting. Frail seeds with kernels of life are thrust into the elements with a vague trust and a specific prayer that they will sprout and grow, overcoming adversity and soft, easy living to produce a resilient, productive harvest. My creating God is the channel through which the world flows and the forces that push it along. My God is present at the planting and the birth. She receives the high heat of summer and the stinging, deadly cold of the dark winter with equal ease, and always provides not only shelter in the storm, but the strength of spirit to dance before the howling wind. We were created to care for creation and walk with God. When we begin to fulfill these roles, we shall see a spiritual paradigm shift similar to the Reformation. Let it be so. Amen.